Hi, welcome back to the blind LP of Eagle Eye Mysteries in London. We are here with Jake as our partner today, and I'm not feeling very well, so I'm not sure how long it will take for me to recover from a sickness, so I'm trying to get in a recording before I fall fully sick. So let's begin on Case of the Hampton Haunt. Okay. Jake, how are your nerves lately? Steady as ever, I guess, but why? What's up? The spirits of the dead, it seems. I just got word that there's been another ghost sighting at Hampton Court, and this time there are two witnesses. Are you and Stakaze brave enough to come along? I guess so. Let's go. Well, he seems fine with it. Victoria Station. Do not make me search for it. Ghost! I don't know whether to be excited or freaked out. It should be fine. Okay, I'm ready to face this so-called spectre at Hampton Court. Just don't sneak up on me or anything while we're there, Stakaze. That's a good idea. I love doing that. Well, this place sure looks old enough to have a couple of ghosts hanging around. Like 1, 2. Or not. This guy. Be careful, children. While you're here today, don't go anywhere alone. Okay. Don't worry, Lord Pomeroy. Stakaze and I'll stick close together. Not that will protect you. Lady Saltcoats and I were together when the spectre accosted us. You saw the ghost? To my horror, yes. The palace is closed to the public this week for renovations, so I pulled some strings to be allowed in, and I invited Lady Saltcoats up. It seemed a lovely opportunity to show her the palace without the bother of tourists. I was giving Lady Saltcoats a quick tour when we heard the most awful wailing. The ghost? No, the palace cat, Mr. Tibbs. We rushed up the stairs just in time to see him, his hair straight on end, wailing towards the royal presence chamber. I looked around the doorway to see what had frightened him, and that's when I saw it. Her, the spirit of Catherine Howard, wandering alone, just as the legends say. I recognized her immediately. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum has a model of her, and the likeness was unmistakable. She was wearing precisely the same dress. That gives me an idea already. Hey, you two? Any sign of boogies or banshees yet? Not yet, but Stakaze and I are keeping our eyes peeled. I've had a good look around here, and I haven't noticed anything strange as yet, so I've taken a moment to study up on the history of the place. Great idea, Aunt Em. What have you learned? Well, Henry VIII and his wives, including Catherine Howard, did live here at Hampton Court, but their royal lodgings were demolished in 1689 by William III. Okay, I suppose he was tired of their old-fashioned rooms. He had this room and the rooms around it built in the style he enjoyed. The only parts of the palace that still remain as they were when Henry lived here are over in the Tudor wing, where the Great Hall and the Royal Chapel are. So, what would the ghost of Catherine Howard be doing here? Who can tell? But she certainly wasn't haunting her old rooms. They no longer exist. Well, the location is the same, so... Oh, Jake, it was so exciting. A real ghost. I can hardly wait to get home to Marlford and tell Julia, although of course she won't believe me. After I heard the cat screeching, Lord Pomeroy screamed "Ghost!" and I dashed up. I just got a quick look of her. Mostly I saw her shadow as she disappeared through that back door. I chased after her immediately. The poor old Lord Pomeroy just stood frozen in terror. When I got to the door, there was no sign of her. She'd simply disappeared. Creepy. What did the ghost look like? Could you see through it and everything? I thought she only saw the shadow. Well, I only had a quick glimpse. She wasn't transparent or glowing or anything. In fact, if it hadn't been for extraordinary clothes and the way she disappeared, she'd have seemed quite ordinary. Who is Catherine Howard? Anyway, Lady Saltcoat, someone who used to live here? Yes, quite, and not just any someone either. She was once the Queen of England, one of Henry VIII's wives. I must confess I'm not all that clear on the history myself, but I do know that Henry had her beheaded. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Well, right here at Hampton Court? No, oh no, back in London at the Tower. I'll bet you've got plenty of history on her there. Okay, where do we go from here? This way to the King's Presence Chamber, Sakaze, where Lord Pomeroy and Lady Saltcoat saw the ghosts. I wonder who this guy is. Here, I don't see any ghosts or anything now. What a relief. Now, I'm curious about you. You look like you had red hair in there. Okay. Mr. Pelham. Ghosts? No, never seen any myself, and I've been working here nigh on 8 years, though I've heard stories. I remember hearing a tale of a woman who went visiting in the royal chapel in the Tudor wing and came over cold all of a sudden. Said she saw a misty figure rise up out of one of the pews. She came running out of there like a pack of wolves. Wolves was chasing her, and she wouldn't go back in for all the tea in China. Yikes, do you think she really saw a ghost? In that lovely old chapel? No, I think the old dear was a bit potty. Perhaps she heard our new air conditioning system come on, and it gave her a start. Did you ever hear of anyone seeing a ghost in the King's Presence Chamber? No, but you never knew. Could be. Course, this whole palace has been closed to the public for the past week. Only Lord Pomeroy, myself, Peebles the gardener, and our guests have been allowed in the buildings. Okay. I'm not sure I've seen you before, but I've been wrong about a few things, so... hello there, young master. Excuse me, won't you? Well, I'll just fetch the cat. There we are, Mr. Tibbs. Naughty boy. He does like to run about these old chambers. Does our Mr. Tibbs, but he's not really allowed, are you, lad? Why's that, Mr. Peebles? Well, he's getting on a bit now, the old thing. And he doesn't take well to strangers. Can't abide the tourists, you see. He just spits and screeches whenever he catches sight or scent of them. Not a very nice attitude when you live at a public palace, I'm afraid. So he's been banished to the gardens. But he was in here earlier today too. How does he get in? Oh, a big drafty palace like this has 1,000 secret doors for courtiers and kings to make their escape through. There's one at the end of this hall that's a particular favorite of Mr. Tibbs. He knows I jam it open on warm days like today. Can I see it? No? Okay. Okay. Okay, and I'm back here after over 1 week of from the last bit of recording I made right before this, because I felt pretty sick, so I had to stop. So now I'm back and I'm continuing the case here. So we'll go to Madame Tussauds, and I hope I remember everything. That is that's the Henry VIII exhibit. Well, if that's supposed to be Catherine Howard, she's not really very pretty. Jake! Oh, shame on you! Don't judge by looks. Hello, dears. What are you two up to today? Ghost hunting, Miss Dunbar. Sakaze and I are trying to learn about Catherine Howard, so that we can find out how to put her ghost to rest. Good heavens, that sounds more like a task for a ghost hunter than a pair of young sleuths, but I suppose Madame Tussauds can be of some help. Have a good look at our Henry VIII display. As you know, here at Madame Tussauds we pride ourselves on our realism and exactness, even with these models of long-date historical figures. Our sculptors created Henry and his wives from portraits painted during their lifetimes, so that their features would be as realistic as possible. But you can't, because portraits are probably different. The clothes that the figures wear are exact copies of the fashions of their eras, made from precisely the same kinds of fabrics as the originals. Our fashion expert Astrid sees to that. We get scats of compliments from period experts on this display. Why, just the other day, an acting troupe from the Old Vic came in to take notes on the costumes for their production of Shakespeare's Henry VIII. I like to think that these figures look just as the real Henry VIII and his wife would have, except that none of our ladies will end up on the chopping block. Okay? This room is creepy too. It's where they built all the robots and wax models for the wax museum. Are we going in? Look at all these models! I always forget that a lot of Madame Tussauds figures are also robots until I come in here. Hello, Jake. You're just in... Who are you? Oh, wait, no, your name sounds familiar. Yeah. Hello, Jake. You're just in time to see me demonstrate my newest effect. The levitating lady. Wow, that's excellent, Dr. Wilde. How do you do it? Sorry, Jake. Top secret. Can't be giving out all these tricks of the trade now, can I? No, I guess not. Does anyone else know how to do this trick? I should hope not. I just invented it myself this week. It's not a trick, Jake, at any rate. It's a rather complicated special effect that I had developed using hovercraft technologies. Whoa. Does that exist then? I don't think so. So far I can only support about 2 stone or 28 pounds. But I hope to perfect the effect until I can leave an entire life-size model. 28 pounds. How much is that? I don't know. Catherine Howard. Oh yes, I remember. I made a very special gown for her, from the kinds of silks and velvets that would have been popular when she was alive. She was a bit of a tough one, though. Why is that, Astrid? Was it hard to find the right stuff in the 20th century? Good guess, but it wasn't it. You see, Catherine Howard was Henry's wife for less than 2 years before he had her axed, so there weren't many portraits of her. I wonder why she was axed. I can't remember. In those days, there weren't any cameras, and painting someone's portrait took quite a bit of a time. The portrait wasn't quite long enough to have many really good ones done. We found a few lovely ones of her face, but not very many of her full figure, which would have helped me suss out her clothes quite a bit. To tell the truth, I made up most of what our figure's wearing here by studying the clothes of other noble women of the time. Catherine never owned exactly that dress. I must have done a fairly good job of it, though, because Dr. Hadrian, or the historian from Oxford that came in here a month or so ago, liked it so much that she brought a dress pattern. You can do that. That person from Oxford. I guess we have to drop by there. We'll see the Tower of London first. This place is even creepier than Hampton Court. There could be bunches of ghosts here too. Hey! Yes, Catherine Howard was one of the unfortunate victims of Henry VIII. He was rather a merciless monarch. While he was king, he had over 80,000 people put to death for various reasons. He's not a good king, is he? I mean, I don't know. No offense to British people, but, 80,000 people is a lot. Catherine was quite a bit younger than Henry, who was nearly 50 years old when he married her. Not that that's all, mind you. She was said to be very pretty too. Jake! There you go. She's pretty. But barely a year later, he had her imprisoned here in the tower and later beheaded. The charge was treason, but many people believe she was innocent. Maybe that's why her ghost is back. She was unjustly killed. Ghost? Really, Jake? Starfather, you're not going to let anyone talk you into that sort of rot, are you? If there were such things as ghosts, which I very much doubt, I think we'd have better evidence of them nowadays than the claims of some very excitable persons. I've been a beefeater here at the tower for 10 years, and I've never seen, heard, felt, or even smelt a ghost. I suspect people make up stories like that to boost the tourist industry. People do love a good tale. It would be most interesting if there were ghosts in Eagle Eye Mysteries. I think it'll just be an interesting result. Whoa, this is the place where Catherine Howard actually got her head cut off. Jeez. Oh my god. It says here that in those days, all you really had to do to get executed was displace the king. Ouch. People didn't have courts or lawyers or anything to protect themselves from his anger. The king's word was the law. And that's why the monarchy does not work well in some countries, I guess. Okay, the Old Vic Theatre. Looks like we're working in on some artistic difference, sis. Yes, I know what I need to work on. I need to work on it. What do you think I've been doing now, Reginald? Oh, does no one understands how difficult it is to perform, to express oneself when one is being constantly harassed. I've spent nights wondering, as I imagine Catherine herself did, wringing my hands over my fate. But it's so difficult, you see. It's terribly hard for one as young and lovely as myself to imagine her problems. Okay. For heaven's sakes, Camilla, what on earth is the matter? Just read your lines. But my motivation, I must have motivation. How can I play Queen Catherine without understanding her agony? You'll understand agony in a minute, Camilla. You don't get on with this scene. Dan is waiting for his cue. Oh, blast, let's all have a break. Camilla, get yourself together. Okay. Well, it didn't disappear. That man Reginald is such a brute. Can you imagine treating such a delicate spirit as myself in that fashion? Spirit? Yes, I say I need time to research Catherine, to explore her life and emotions. Why, just the other day I asked to be allowed in at Hampton Court to wander the halls she used to inhabit, and the fools refused to be. Me, a very nearly famous South London theatre, it's an outrage. Sure. Oh, you gods, spare me from temperamental actresses. That Camilla will be the death of me. She may whinge and moan a bit, but I hate to admit it, she's the finest leading lady in all of South London. She'll be a wonderful Queen Catherine once she's gotten settled in, you'll see. Ted, Camilla, what a prima donna, she's exhausting me. What's a prima donna? Oh, you know, someone who thinks they're so special and talented that the normal rules don't apply to them. It's pretty frustrating to work with someone like that because they're usually terribly selfish and spoiled. Camilla's been a trial since this play began. First, she insisted that we spend twice as much on our wardrobe as we'd intended to get the most authentic look, and still keep her precious self comfortable as Catherine. So Camilla is playing Henry's wife, Catherine Howard. I'm sure you'd like to get her axed then. No, this is Shakespeare's Henry VIII. Catherine Howard doesn't come into it. Really? Camilla's playing Catherine of Aragon, Henry's first wife, whom he divorces. Okay. Okay. So Henry married two Catherines? Well, actually, Henry married three women named Catherine. Catherine of Aragon, whom he divorced. Catherine Howard, whom he had beheaded. And finally, Catherine Parr, who outlived the old good. Well, that's good. Good grief. And that's not to mention the other three wives, Anne Boleyn, Anne of Cleves, and Jane Seymour. You think your American soap operas have juicy plots? Ha! You should read some English history. Man, he has a lot of wives. We've been through this. He has a lot of wives. Oxford, huh? All this talk of ghosts is giving me the creeps. You don't think that it's for real, do you, Sakase? Do you? Yeah, I would like it to be a ghost in this case. But whatever works. Oxford, oh yeah, that's where the historian Miss Dunbar mentioned came from. The historian Miss Dunbar mentioned came from. Good thinking, Stakazi. It's about to do 2:33 according to my watch. Let's take a look at the train schedule in our Eagle Eye handbook and find out which train we want. Uh-oh. Got the schedule? Great, remember it's 2:33 now, so which platform do we need to get to? Ooh, in order to catch the next train to Oxford. I'm going to do the numbers now. 1. Nope. Maybe it's 5? Let's try 4. No? How about 5? 5. Oh man, I knew. I had a feeling it was 5. But I had to do it in order. Just right. Let's head over to platform 5 and grab the 2:45 to Oxford. That must be the historian Astrid told us about, Dr. Hadrian. If she's so nuts about Catherine Howard that she bought a pattern for Astrid's dress, maybe she'll be able to give us some scoops on Catherine's life. My specialty is Tudor history, the 100 years or so and the family of Henry VIII ruled England, but my main interest is in Henry VIII and his wives. They still have concentrated on the unfortunate Catherine Howard, partly because she led such an interesting and short life, but partly too because many people have told me that I resemble the portraits made of her, really. I suppose I feel connected to her in that way. My next book will be written from her point of view. I've gone to great lengths to try and understand her life. I spent last summer in Sussex, where she spent her girlhood. I even spent 2 months of this year locked in a tiny hotel room overlooking the Tower of London to see if I could understand how she must have felt as a prisoner in the tower. That sounds awful. Why did you do that? To understand her, I guess. Going to the places Catherine lived helps me to understand some of the things that she felt and went through. That way I can write not only a historical novel, but an interesting biography as well. That's an actually good idea. Do you think that the ghost of Catherine Howard could be haunting the halls of Hampton Court? Well, I've spent a lot of time at Hampton Court, because Mr. Peebles, the head gardener there, is an old friend of my family, but the most frightening I've ever seen was that dreadful cat. Mr. Tibbs never goes. I suppose if ghosts did exist, Catherine Howard might be as likely a person as any to haunt a place. She certainly had a tragic life, and since it was at Hampton Court that she was arrested for treason, I suppose it's possible that her mid-spirit might work there. Well, it might be her, actually. It might be her. Did I go to Hampton Court already? I did. So, am I done? Okay, I'm done. Okay, so I think it might be her. It might be her. Okay, Lord Pomeroy says he and Lady Saltcoat saw the ghost of Catherine Howard. Mr. Tibbs was waiting at the ghost from her likeness at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. So possibly, it is possible that it's Dr. Hadrian. If we could just find Dr. Hadrian somewhere. Okay, at Hampton Court, writing a book, visiting places. She spent a lot of time, she visited places, okay, that's what I need. Then she bought the dress, right? And Catherine Howard never really owned a dress like the one the model is wearing. Okay, I don't really need that. Okay, so what I needed is the wax figures of Henry VIII. No, probably the first two. Probably. Maybe. Lady Saltcoats, she saw his shadow disappearing through the back. Says the ghost looked like an ordinary person except for his ancient clothes and its disappearance. Lady Saltcoats said that the ghost looked. I think probably this and this. Yeah, alright. Dr. Hadrian.
You got it!
You got it! That was no ghost that Lord Pomeroy and Lady Saltcoats saw. That was Dr. Hadrian trying to prepare for her book. We started to figure out that the ghost Lord Pomeroy saw was no ghost when Lady Saltcoats told us that she saw the ghost shadow slip through the door. Why would a ghost have a shadow? But the real clues started to come together when Lord Pomeroy told us he was positive that the ghost was Catherine Howard because he recognized her from the display at Madame Tussauds. Astrid, the fashion expert at Madame Tussauds, told us that the dress she made for Catherine Howard couldn't have really been worn by the Queen because Astrid made it up from her imagination. If what Lord Pomeroy saw really was a ghost, it certainly couldn't have been Catherine Howard, because it was wearing a dress designed in the 20th century. Whoever Lord Pomeroy saw was wearing a copy of Astrid's dress. Astrid told us that she sold the pattern for that dress to Dr. Hadrian of Oxford University. Dr. Hadrian must have been wearing that dress on a research visit to Hampton Court. She's trying to understand Catherine Howard enough to finish her book. She could get in because she's an old friend of Mr. Peebles the gardener. And did she not realize we were talking about her when we were talking about the ghost? A supposed ghost sighting of Hampton Court was debunked yesterday by Stargazer Gamer of the renowned Eagle-Eye Detective Agency. Stargazer realized that the figure we saw couldn't have been the real ghost of Catherine Howard, since it was clad in a dress created only last year, explained Lord Pomeroy, probably. Mr. Tibbs sharpening his claws. However, Jake didn't enjoy it at all. Ouch! Yeah. The ghost was actually Oxford historian Dr. Eleanor Hadrian preparing for a new novel. Dr. Hadrian applauded Stargazer's detective work. I was impressed with the history Stargazer used to track me down. She really studied up. Hampton Court officials were relieved that his horn at least was no ghost. Too bad. The brilliant Miss Dunbar, a great singer as well. Okay. I mean, so she knows. She knows about the ghost and she knows it was her, wasn't it? Alright, so in the next episode, let's check it out. The next episode, we have several more. We still have quite a way to go. So in the next episode, we have Case of the Trespassing Toy. So until the next time, thank you for watching and goodbye.